No smartphone, app, or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 605-477-4700 to listen on demand. Anytime. Anywhere. You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC Radio. Mixed news today about jobs coming one day ahead of the Labor Department's big October jobs report. First-time jobless claims last week higher by 7,000, while planned corporate layoffs in October took a tumble down 31%, hitting a 5-month low. But today we also learned drugstore giant CVS is laying off 600 workers, mostly at corporate offices in Rhode Island, Illinois, and Arizona. And Reebok may let 300 workers go in a cost-cutting move in the Boston area. On Wall Street today, stocks lower again. The Dow down 29 points, the Nasdaq down 47, with the S&P 500 index and the tech-heavy Nasdaq both ending lower for an 8th day in a row. Facebook shares down 6%, shares of Fitbit 33% lower. But profits at Starbucks up 23% last quarter thanks to a lift in U.S. sales and a 6% spike in sales in China. Tom Busby, CNBC Radio.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. But even today, there's still one path to success that only requires a dream and about $10. Because if your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. Right now at Vistaprint, you can get 500 customized, high-quality business cards for only $9.99. That's $9.99, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Just go to Vistaprint.com. Use promo code 300 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com. Promo code 300.
O'Reilly. When it comes to vehicle safety, having poor visibility is a risk not worth taking. Get set for this fall's weather by visiting your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store during the See Better, Drive Safer sale. You'll find deals on name brand headlights, wiper blades, and everything you need to see better and drive safer. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
NBC News Radio. I'm Tom Roberts. Hillary Clinton claims Donald Trump would be completely out of his depth as commander-in-chief.
Someone who wants more countries to have nuclear weapons and could easily insult a foreign leader and start a real war instead of just a Twitter war.
Campaigning in North Carolina, Clinton mocked Trump's claim that he has a great temperament and said he has very thin skin. Melania Trump says her husband Donald will be a fantastic president. She asked a Pennsylvania crowd about what the future holds for our children.
Do we want our children to be safe and secure and dream big dreams? Yes.
It was Mrs. Trump's first campaign speech since July at the Republican National Convention. Hillary Clinton has a slight lead over Donald Trump in the latest New York Times CBS poll. The poll shows the Democratic nominee with a 45 to 42% edge. A couple of weeks ago, it was a 9-point lead. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. The man accused of killing 2 Iowa police officers now faces 2 counts of first-degree murder. Des Moines Police Chief Dana Wingert says what happened was plain and simple.
This was calculated murder. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was cowardly in every sense of the word, from the way it was carried out to the way it ended.
Police say Scott Green ambushed Urbandale officer Justin Martin and Des Moines Police Sergeant Tony Bemanillo early yesterday morning. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is promising a parade that will stand the test of time to honor the World Series champion Chicago Cubs. The decision is yet another victory for the Cubs, who wanted to celebrate tomorrow instead of Monday, the date the city preferred. The parade will fittingly begin at Wrigley Field. British scientists are revealing why song earworms tend to stick in your head. They say those songs have faster tempos with somewhat generic melodies and have unique repetitions. The group surveyed 1,000 people and found Lady Gaga's Bad Romance was the most common earworm. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Tom Ladd. For this afternoon, it'll be sunny. Expect a high near 84. Clear tonight with the low near 59. You can expect sunny conditions Friday with the high near 82. Clear Friday night with the low near 58. Saturday's outlook sunny, high near 82. It'll be clear Saturday night with the low near 57. Sunday sunny, high of 75. And clear Sunday night with the low near 57. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. The stations that leave no listener behind.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station, where your business comes first.
Woohoo! It's time for open season with award-winning sportscasters Larry Burnett and Eric Giller. Just a couple of sports nuts tackling the issues and swinging for the fences. Hey, let's quit wasting time and dive right into open season. Ready? Aim. Open season is on the air, in the air, and almost everywhere. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Sports Fan, and all ships at sea. Cubs win. Cubs win a marvelous World Series. No more curse or goats for Chicago, just boast for Joe Madden and company.
Burden's been lifted. It should have never been there in the first place, I don't think. But now we can move forward.
You'll hear more from the Cubbies, plus NFL talk. Carolina coach Ron Rivera weighs in on Cam's complaints to the commissioner.
We're not looking for any calls or anything like that extra. We're just looking for the rules to be distributed across the board. That's all.
And that's not all. You'll hear from that Panthers linebacker who spells his name funny and pronounces it,
Keekly, Ketchley, Kookley, anything that starts with a K.
It's Keekly. Come on, get it right. Today's golf guest is Jesper Parnevik. Now there's a tough name to pronounce.
The worst one so far, Casper Pornoflick. And that's a true story.
Oh, we'll definitely look closely into that, as well as the first college football playoff rankings. And we'll chat with Russell Westbrook about his favorite subject, Kevin Durant.
I'm not answering any more Kevin questions. If you want to talk about basketball, I'm more than welcome to be able to talk about that.
Oh, we will. And as if that wasn't enough, actor Craig T. Nelson joins the show to talk sports and the motivation behind his TV role, Coach.
I've been around coaches my whole life, and most of them I didn't like.
Folks, the Surgeon General demands that we inform you that listening to Open Season can be extremely addictive.
It just got to be too important to me.
Oh.
So I said, hey, wait a minute, I'm getting a little obsessed.
Better to be obsessed than depressed. So listen at your own risk, folks. Cubs genius Theo Epstein does, and he's doing just fine.
We're coming home to Chicago, baby. Jed's in charge. I'm going on a bender. I'm going on a bender. I'm going on a bender.
It's open season, where our motto remains, if it's news in sports, it's news to us. All righty, welcome everybody to open season. Larry Burnett along with Eric Geller. Theo Epstein, after 108 years, you're entitled to a bender. There's no question about it. And how about this? Those lovable losers are now the freaking front runners. They're not only the World Series champions, but they're 3-1 favorites to win it all next year as well, Eric Geller.
They were the best team this year. Obviously, they're the best team, and going into next season, yeah. But think about Cleveland. They were without two of their prime starters. Think about what would have happened if they were in there. So it could be the same two teams next year. Maybe Cleveland will reverse their curse. Who knows?
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. 8-7 in 10 innings. A rain delay last night in game number 7. And the Cubs win it to erase the curse that has been with them for over a decade. I tell you what, when you look at this game, and you look at actually the last several games in the World Series, this could have blown up in Joe Madden's face in a big, big way. He yanks Henrik early. He brings in John Lester for the first time as a reliever in 9 years. Yeah. He brings him in with a man on first base when he knows he's a guy who can't even throw to first base, and he wild pitches in 2 runs. Then he brings in Chapman, who gets roughed up because he's been used too much, then leaves him in for the 9th inning, and the guy gets his gas back, and he's on top of it, and then they win it. I mean, yeah, they came out with the win, but there's so many speed bumps along the way that could have gone the wrong way for the Cubs.
Very fortunate, and I'm thinking, what was Madden thinking in Game 6, putting Chapman in there when he had a 7-1 lead? Leave him out. Give him a day off, and maybe we don't go to extra innings last night, but he's lucky that he kind of did a Gene Mock, I guess, almost. But he's lucky, and fortunate for them, for him, they won. And congratulations to the Cubs.
Well, interesting situation, too. You mentioned they had the lead in Game 6, and then it was like 9-2 in the ninth inning, and Chapman's still in there pitching. And you look ahead, he's going to be a free agent. I'm wondering what he's thinking. Is he thinking, what are they trying to do to me? Or is he thinking, they really respect what I can do? I'm not sure which way he turns on that when they try to sign him for next year.
Well, I think Madden, it was his best arm in the bullpen, obviously, and he just wanted to use him, and that gave him the best chance to win. But listen, you wouldn't have done that if it's game number 122 and you're up 7-1. You're not going to put him in the regular season and then put him in a 7-1 game. You're going to leave him out because you might need him tomorrow night. So to me, that philosophy of you need your best arm in there. I mean, they obviously, the kid that was the closer before they got Chapman, put him in there. He's the setup guy now. Let him pitch that 7-1 game and let him pitch the ninth inning. But I'm wondering.
But here's the situation now. Yeah. If you're in that Game 6 and you don't bring Chapman in, and your other reliever loses that game for you, then you're done. So I can see where Madden's thinking, we've got to do everything we can to win this game. But once you're up 9-2, get him out of there.
Lead. Yeah, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you lose, listen, if you're up 7-1 and 9-2 and you lose that game, you don't deserve to win the World Series. And there's no way. I mean, come on. The Cubs had the best record. They obviously had capable guys in the bullpen that could protect a 6 or 7 run lead. Leave Chapman out of it. Madden is fortunate they won yesterday.
Yeah, well, if I'm in that bullpen, I'm thinking that Joe Madden's got no respect for my abilities whatsoever if my name isn't Aroldis Chapman. So we'll see what happens there. Let's listen in to Joe Madden, who got this team out from under the curse after 108 years.
That's the game of baseball. There's professionals on both sides. Both teams are good, and there's going to be an ebb and flow to the game. There's nothing to do with curses. Superstition has nothing to do with what's happening today. Nothing. And if you want to believe in that kind of stuff, it's going to hold you back for a long time. I love tradition. I think tradition is worth time mentally, and tradition is worth being upheld. But curses and superstitions are not. So it's really great for our entire Cubdom to get beyond that moment and continue to move forward, because now, based on the young players we have in this organization, we have an opportunity to be good for a long time.
Well, he's right about that. And as I mentioned at the top of the program, Las Vegas now picking the Cubs as the 3-1 favorites to win it all next year. They've got the Dodgers, the Nationals, and the Red Sox next at 10-1. And there's a whole group, including the Angels, at 100-1 long shots.
I'll put $20 down on them. Come on. Why not? You never know. Hey, it's free agency. They need a couple players. Come on.
Hey, one of the great stories from the World Series was Dexter Fowler, who led off Game 7 with the home run against Kluber. This was a guy during the offseason who was headed off to Baltimore and then decided, you know what, I want to be with the Cubs. I'm going to take a little less money. I'll sign a one-year deal. He showed up at spring training. He surprised everybody. And, man, was he big for them during the World Series. And afterwards, he was pretty excited to be right back with the Cubbies.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing, to say the least. We're world champions. We're world champions. It hadn't been done since 1908, and we're excited to make history.
And they made history, no question about it. And we talked about John Lester coming in relief, and I think it's a lot easier for a reliever to move up in innings than it is to bring a starter in as a reliever, but maybe that's a topic for another show. But if Lester doesn't come in, David Ross doesn't come in to catch. And if David Ross at 39 years old playing in his last game doesn't come in to catch, then maybe they don't get that home run that he hit, and maybe it's a whole different result. So, it's a juggling act, but I thought David Ross was one of the great stories of the World Series, certainly a class act and somebody who may have some managing in his future. But when it was all said and done, he knew that it was going to be a tough road to the World Series, and a happy one once they got there.
These guys knew that it wasn't going to be easy to win a world championship in Chicago. There's been a lot of teams come through Chicago Cubs organization that weren't able to do this, and I don't know what the factors are in that, but we knew it wasn't going to be easy. And so these guys just continue to impress me, and I'm so amazed and proud, and all the great words I can use.
Fun guy, and he goes out on a winning note. Not many people can do that, and he hits a home run in Game 7. I mean, come on, when they make the movie, it's going to be interesting. And the rain delay, the 17-minute rain delay, allowed the Cubs to go back into their locker room and regroup. And Jason Hayward, of all people, new guy on the team, a guy who hadn't hit a lick all through the playoffs, he gathers everybody around and says, come on, guys, you've got what it takes. Let's stick with it. You know, put your nose to the grindstone and let's get it done. And a lot of the players are saying that had a lot to do with them coming out after the rain delay and being as successful as they were.
You could see they showed they had a shot of the Indians sitting in that dugout with the rain pouring, and you could see it on their faces. Come on, stop! We've got this. Just stop the rain. But yeah, that 17-minute rain. My wife said, you know what? It's not coincidence. It's a higher power wanting a tie between the two teams. But yeah, they were able to regroup. It's almost like just going in at halftime and adjusting and saying, hey, we got this. And they did. And Ross reminded me of Rick Dempsey when the Dodgers had him in '88. And Rick Dempsey was the last guy to wear a cap behind the plate as a catcher. And whenever I looked at Ross, that's Rick Dempsey, 1988, right there. If you don't have a catcher like that, without him there, or maybe Dempsey, if he wasn't there for the Dodgers, maybe they don't win the World Series. So that experience, you said those guys make the best managers, and that experience helped out.
Yeah, they're kind of field generals behind the plate. And it carries over into the managing side as well. Maybe one of the biggest Cub fans in a long, long time, and certainly one of the most recognizable. Bill Murray, he was celebrating in the locker room with the Cubs after the game, and he made it seem as though it was just business as usual.
It was what I expected. It was going to get hard, and then it was going to get difficult, and then we're going to start, and then we got the rain. We got to start all over again. It was great. It was fun. It was perfect.
When they caught up twice, what was going through your mind? When they caught up twice, they tied the game.
I don't know. It's just like we get to start all over again. That's all. We get to start again.
Never
Did
panic.
You ever think you would I was not panicked.
See this day?
I never panicked. Of course I thought this was going to happen.
Of course he thought it was going to happen. He just didn't know if it would be in his lifetime, in anybody's lifetime for that matter. 108 years, the curse is gone, and they've got a parade in Chicago on Friday. And when was the last time they had a big parade in Chicago and Michael Jordan wasn't a part of it? Now all of a sudden, it's the Chicago Cubs, huh?
People forget the White Sox won about 10 years ago, so they were right there. But
that is true.
What was funny is last night they kept showing shots of Theo Epstein in that last inning, and behind him was John Cusack. And John Cusack just started bawling as soon as the final out, and it looked like he fell to the ground. But it's funny, all those John Hughes movie guys and all the Saturday Night Live Second City people were out there, and it's all about them as well. It's funny.
It's fun. It's all good stuff. And Theo Epstein, the architect of putting this Cubs team together, not only broke the curse in Boston, and now has done it in Chicago as well. And a feather in his cap, and as I said, if anybody deserves a bender, it is Theo Epstein. All right, coming up on Open Season, golfer Jesper Pernovac and actor Craig T. Nelson. And straight ahead on the program, it's the NFL. Cam Newton talked with the commissioner about what he calls illegal hits, and Rams head coach Jeff Fisher understands Cam's concerns.
Can understand the frustration with a low hit. That's a dangerous play. I mean, ask Tom Brady and Carson Palmer. It's a dangerous, dangerous play. So, we understand the importance of protecting the quarterback.
Have you ever gone to use a flashlight and the batteries were dead, or the inside of the flashlight corroded, only having to throw it away, or in a location where you had no way to charge your cell phone or camera? Well, all that has changed. Now there's Hybrid Light. The Hybrid Light brings the best of both worlds together with a strong 160 lumen LED light that lasts 12 hours on a single charge, and after recharge from any light or power source, you're ready to go again. Hybrid Light lasts 7 long years and is even waterproof in all also contains a USB port to plug in your cell phone or camera to give you that special charge when you're not near an outlet. All this for the low price of $39.95 with promo code GARY. Call 1-800-297-8109 to be the first to have this great tool, or go to our website, hybridlight.com. That's 800-297-8109 or hybridlight.com, hybridlight.com, and don't forget to use promo code GARY.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
We're back here on Open Season. Larry Burnett and Eric Geller. Lots to talk about today. Got lots of great guests for you as well. NFL football on Thursday night. Weird uniform night. Atlanta 5-3 at Tampa Bay 3-4. Falcons a much improved team. Matt Ryan, Matty Ice. I'm not sold on the guy, but he's having a good season.
You know, the thing that's improved about them is because they always had the offense. I think it's their defense that's playing a lot better. Although they don't really rush the quarterback that much, but they're pretty good, and no one's talking about them. And in a playoff, anything can happen. And with a guy like Ryan, who is really one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, no one ever talks about this guy. They could do a lot of things, and I think, Tampa Bay is playing a little bit better, but they're still at kind of like where the Rams are, kind of an 8-8 level. But you've got they're improving. But right now, no one's really talking about the Falcons, and people should start paying attention to them because I think they're going to win the South, and anything can happen. And the South, they've risen for the Super Bowl.
Somebody's got to win it.
Yeah, and but it's a good division, and the Falcons they're going to come out here and play the Rams. I'm going to be interested to see those guys live.
It'll be a fun game. Sunday, the Patriots have a bye. They're a 7-1 team right now with Tom Brady back in the fold. Good game on tap. Broncos and Raiders, both teams 6-2. It's a battle atop the AFC West. How about the Raiders last week? They get over 500 yards passing from Derek Carr, but on the other side, they commit an NFL record 23 penalties in that game.
It's the Raiders, but
it is.
Speaking of one of the best quarterbacks in the league, it's Derek Carr. I mean, the guy, his brother was the same way. Unfortunately for him, for David, he got hit too many times. But this guy is the real deal, and he wears number 4 because his idol, of course, was Brett Favre. And, they've got the weapons on offense, and now, Jack Del Rio has his defense playing well. I think the Raiders are going to win this game. I think the Raiders win the AFC West.
It'll be a fun game to watch. The Vikings, 5-2, host Detroit this weekend. They lost their offensive coordinator. Norv Turner just up and resigned, and Pat Shurmur is going to fill in there, trying to help out with Sam Bradford. Dallas 6-1 at the Browns 0-8, and Tony Romo back at practice now. What are they going to do? Because Prescott's played awfully well for that team.
Can you treat this game like an exhibition game? You're playing the Browns. Maybe let Prescott start and play the first and second quarter, depending on what the score is. Put Romo in there, see what he can do. That's a tough decision. It's Tony Romo. I always thought that Tony Romo was the most overrated quarterback in NFL history, but you got to keep Dak Prescott in. You got to go with what the chemistry's there.
I think you got to put Romo on the back burner at this point until Prescott shows that he can't get it done, and so far he hasn't shown that at all. The Rams 3-4 hosting Carolina 2-5. They're at the bottom of the NFC South after going to the Super Bowl game last year. The Rams lost in London to the Giants. Case Keenum didn't play well. The Panthers defeated Arizona, and the Panthers found some defense. They had 8 sacks in that game. But after the win, Cam Newton complained, publicly about illegal hits again. He said he didn't feel safe out on the football field. And he declared that he was going to talk with Commissioner Roger Goodell about the situation. Well, he did. And so did Panthers head coach Ron Rivera. And the coach told us what Newton hopes to accomplish.
Cam's not trying to find any special treatment. All he wants to do is make sure that across the board, that the rules are being enforced, and that's the bottom line. So as far as we're concerned, though, it's been pretty much over. He had his opportunities to say what he had to say. Commissioner listened. I had my conversation with the commissioner. He was terrific. And we talked about the things, and he was very receptive and very open, and he listened. And that's the best part about talking with the commissioner, is that he listens to what we have to say. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens on Sunday, and we'll go from there. And like I said, we're not looking for any calls or anything like that extra. We're just looking for the rules to be distributed across the board. That's all.
While Cam Newton's comments and complaints have flooded the internet and the airwaves this week, Carolina linebacker Luke Kuechly says all the attention on the team's quarterback has not impacted the Panthers.
Yeah, it's not been an issue at all. That was addressed after the game, and I'm sure Coach talked about it the other day. So it's not an issue. That stuff doesn't overhang or hang over our heads during the week. Guys are focused on playing this week, and that's really where our mindset is on that.
Rams head coach Jeff Fisher has been following the Cam Chronicles this week. He understands the concern, but he doesn't expect the officiating to change in Sunday's game at the Coliseum.
The commissioner actually cares. He cares for the players. He loves the players because that's the essence of the game. But there's no rule changes. It would only create more problems for the league if we got, as you say, extra scrutiny. There's a rule book. The game's officiated one way. Some are missed and some aren't. And, that's just the way it is. And we all are in favor of protecting quarterbacks.
If Rams safety T.J. McDonald is worried about stricter officiating this week, he isn't letting on.
We're going to play how we play. That's up to him and his people to deal with. We're going to play aggressive. We play between the whistles. Not trying to do anything illegal, but we're going to play aggressive as possible.
For his part, Kuechly and the Panthers don't plan on changing much with their defense.
Try not to think about that stuff too much. I just try to play within the rules and understand that when the quarterback's got the ball, there's certain ways you can hit him, and when he throws the ball, you can't hit him. So I think it's pretty straightforward stuff. Just got to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Kuechly and the Carolina D will be trying to manhandle Rams quarterback Case Keenum this week. But Keenum has a game plan and a backup just in case.
I just try to get the ball out before they get there. Everything else that happens, it's not my job. I know everybody out there on that field, including the officials, are trying to do the best that they can. So I got to trust them. I got to trust just like I trust my line to do their job. And in the end, I'll let Coach Fisher and those guys protect us.
Have a tighter microscope on the defensive plays in the game on Sunday at the Coliseum. Let's talk about Case Keenum a little bit. Started off with a decent season. Has fallen off, had 4 interceptions in the game against the Giants. And, of course, the Rams had the bye week, and there was a lot of speculation that maybe that was the opportunity for Jeff Fisher to make a change and bring in Jared Goff, the number 1 pick overall in the most recent draft. Fisher says, no, that's not going to happen, but the rumors persist. And you were out at Rams camp yesterday. What are they talking about?
Well, we're all asking because when you look at the internet, everything is about Jared Goff looks ready. He's ready. He's taking all the first team reps. But Fisher's sticking to his guns. It's Case Keenum. But I have a feeling if at the beginning of the game on Sunday, if he's not doing well, if Keenum isn't doing well, I think Goff comes into play for the first time. And listen, they're dressing Goff to play. That he's been the backup. So clearly, if he weren't ready to play, they'd have Sean Mannion in there, and that's another issue. Sean Mannion is ready to play as well, but right. All the money is on Goff at this point. So if something happens, if Keenum fumbles, loses the ball through an interception early, I expect to see Goff play because he's ready, he's dressed, he's ready to play.
As I mentioned, Eric was out at Rams camp yesterday, and he brought up all the rumors and speculation to Keenum, and Case starting to sound a little bit testy here.
When I don't listen to you guys, I don't hear y'all. So, it doesn't, man. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm out here doing my job. And if I do listen to that stuff, then I'm not able to do my job the way I need to do my job. And You know, we got a heck of an opponent coming in this weekend. That's the Carolina Panthers. So, yeah, if you guys want to ask about that, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd much rather talk about that. But I guarantee you he's hearing this stuff. If not, his family, his wife, his friends are hearing this stuff, and it gets back to him. He's got to hear the footsteps. He's just got to.
Yeah, and I asked him that question, and I said to him, listen, you just spoke about how you're really not listening, but you're a human being. And I asked him that question because if I were in his shoes, I literally would be reading everything and watching everything because that's just the type of person I am. And it's got to weigh on you at some point. And, you know, he's at the bottom of the league in quarterback stats, so he's got to be hearing all that stuff and reading all that stuff. But good for him, you know, he's sticking to his guns. And I happen to like Case Keenum. I think he's, you know, I think he's a good quarterback, and I think a lot of the things that happened, they threw 53 times against the Giants and didn't commit to the run. You can't have him throw the football 53 times. He's not Derek Carr, you know?
Yeah. Well, they got to get the running game going. And, you know, it's interesting. I used to host Del Harris's radio show when he was the head coach of the Lakers. And Del would constantly, I'd say, well, you know, it was in the paper today about this. And he would say, you know, I don't read the paper. I don't listen to these things. And then like the next week, Del would come back and he said, you know, I saw on USA Today that, you know,
sure, of course they do.
So they do. Hey, before we get to the break, we talked about Luke Kuechly. We kind of made some fun up in the top of the show, but he spells his last name Kuechly, and for the longest time I couldn't figure out how to pronounce it. So I asked him, how many different ways has he heard his name pronounced? Here's his answer.
Oh my goodness gracious. There's a lot of them. I haven't been asked that question in a long time, and it makes me laugh a little bit. I like that. Kuechly, Ketchley, Kuechly, anything that starts with a K and ends with like an LY and then maybe a hard K there at the end is how it gets pronounced. But you know, when I was in grade school and high school, I had a brother that was a year older than me, so I'm sure he got all the mispronounced names more than I did because they had already had them. So he's the guy to ask on that. But I think anything that starts with a K and ends with like a LY, I would usually respond to when I was a little kid.
Yeah, whatever you call him, he's one heck of a linebacker, and he's a big key for that Panthers team that we'll see out here in Los Angeles on Sunday. Monday Night Football has the Bills at the Seahawks. Still to come on Open Season, actor Craig T. Nelson. You remember him from Coach. He'll talk sports and a whole lot more. Plus, we've got the debut of the college football playoff rankings. And up next, Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Plus, Jasper Parnevik stops by to talk about the frustrating game that he loves. We call it golf, or some various four-letter words.
You can never perfect it. You always try to do better, and as quickly as you have it and you play unbelievably well, you think I'm going to have this forever. Boom, that second is gone, and the next day you can go like, I'm never going to find it again.
MD Beverly Hills provides skincare solutions for patients undergoing cancer treatments. Personalized treatment regimens are initiated to achieve optimum remission states in those dealing with cancer. The IS Clinical Harmony Cancer Care Facial at MD Beverly Hills safely offers hope and relief for those challenged with the side effects and repercussions of intense cancer treatments such as radiation and chemotherapy. Rejuvenate, replenish, and soothe your skin. Let our certified technicians at MD Beverly Hills safely and effectively heal your skin with our IS Clinical products that are pharmaceutical grade, botanically based, paraben free, and do not enter the bloodstream. Enjoy a day of pampering and revitalize your skin with MD Beverly Hills and our IS Clinical Harmony Cancer Care Facial for just $179. Each patient will receive a complimentary gift bag for take-home care. For more information, please call 310-777-7511 or visit us at www.ninamd.com. That's www.ninamd.com.
Back here on Open Season, Larry Burnett, Eric Gidler, glad to have you with us. The NBA in full swing now. Guess who's undefeated? the world champion Cavs, and LeBron was at the World Series game last night cheering for a while, but didn't go home happy. It'll be the Cavs hosting Boston tonight. Oklahoma City also 4-0. They are at Golden State tonight, so that means Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, and that one should be interesting. You were at the game last night. Oklahoma City handed the Clippers their first loss.
And, you know, Russell Westbrook is a monster. He's averaging 38 points and 10 assists a game, a double-double a game. He's the league leader right now. And forget about his stats, which are currently off the charts, of course, as I just said, but he plays with an intensity like he's being chased by someone, or his life depends on everything he does on the basketball court. No one's like the Thunder's point guard, who is OKC's field general.
Nothing was never given to me growing up, and I always had to find ways to be able to get it, and that's the only way I know is to go out and compete at a high level every night. My job is to be able to kind of read off those guys, man. As a point guard, you got to be able to adjust and know what type of personalities you have on the team. Try to find ways to kind of uplift those guys and find ways to be able to play off them as well.
Point guard, leader, facilitator. Whatever he may call himself, the Thunder is Westbrook's team now, and his teammates, including new backcourt mate Victor Oladipo, feed off of his ferocity, trying to play with that same intensity.
Yeah, definitely. His mentality is definitely brushing off. It's hard not to when you're with him every day. There's nobody who wants to win as bad as he does, you know what I mean? No one has the same mentality as him. He does what he does at a high level, and he does it every single day, so that's why he's successful.
Second-year head coach Billy Donovan said he's never coached a player like Westbrook until now, of course. And Donovan understands that that ferocious gear he plays with does rub off on the rest of his team.
That's who Russell Westbrook is, and that's who he's always been his entire career. He's a great competitor, he's a great warrior, and he's going to play every night all out. And, you know, like I said, he's not going to be perfect every night, but you know you get perfect effort from him every night. And his perfect effort is the very, very best he has. And I think from a leadership standpoint, when you have a leader doing that, I think there's no question it rubs off on the team, and it helps those other guys do that. And it gives the other guys confidence, too. But it was really, really great to see. You know, again, he's played incredibly well, and just what he's doing statistically is amazing. But, you know, as a coach, when you're in there and you see a bigger picture as relates to the team, you know, I've been really impressed with his leadership and what he's been able to do to help our team.
Even opponents like the Clippers' Blake Griffin are left almost breathless at Westbrook's intensity and level he plays at every night.
He's a unbelievable player. I mean, just the impact he has on the game from so many different areas, and just the pressure he puts on defenses just alone, you know, is crazy. So yeah, I mean, you kind of know that's just his personality to just go and destroy and try to take over.
Tonight, Westbrook and OKC travel to Oakland for the second of a back-to-back to take on his ex-partner in hoops crime, Kevin Durant, and the Golden State Warriors for the first time since KD left in free agency.
I play every game like it's my last. I play every game the same, always, like I've been saying for years. Regardless of who we play, I'm going to play the same way.
Well, I think our guys know the atmosphere. I mean, they've always been building. I mean, playing last year 7-game series with them in playoff games and regular season games, we know that's going to be a great environment. But again, you know, I think for us, it's just about playing basketball.
Of course, Billy Donovan there, yeah. Westbrook is a scary player. I mean, when he goes up or does something, it's not, you're just like, oh my gosh, you know, like you're watching a horror. I mean, he's so vicious, but it's amazing to see this guy plays. And what was Ben Hallen thinking at UCLA? He never played him. Ben Hallen might still be here if at UCLA if he had played him.
I love to watch that guy play. I love the ferocity and the intensity with which he plays. And look back on it. Once Durant was gone, there were a lot of questions about whether or not Oklahoma City would try to trade Russell Westbrook because he was going to be a free agent at the end of the year. How fortunate are they that he was willing to sign a multi-year deal to stay in Oklahoma City, and how fortunate is he that now he's got this forum and this showcase to really show off his talents at the highest level?
You know, don't think I'm stupid about this. KD Durant is obviously a magnificent basketball player, but I think I think Westbrook and maybe Oklahoma City is better off with just Russell Westbrook there, because like I said, they picked up his personality and they play with a defensive intensity that they didn't really have consistently with Durant in there, because Durant's almost a 7-footer that's a perimeter guy, right. And now they have these big guys inside and they're all playing defense, and and Russell feeds off that defense going the other direction. So they're good, and I'll tell you what, I think it'll be the Clippers and OKC in the Western Conference Finals. That's how good that is.
We'll see how that plays out. And one thing you have to concern yourself with is he's been injured several times in the past, and if Westbrook goes down, that team is in big trouble. I want to switch to golf here really quickly. Jesper Parnevik, he's an interesting guy. He's one of the most interesting characters on the PGA Championship Tour. The man from Sweden in his first year on that over 50 group, and he's got almost as many thoughts on the game of golf as he has had bad pronunciations for his own name. So how do you pronounce your name, Jesper?
In true Swedish, it's Jesper Parnevik. Over here, it was could be Jesper Parnevik, Jasper Parnevik, and the worst one so far, Casper Pornoflick. And that's a true story. That is a true story.
Somebody called you Casper Pornoflick?
Yes, but that's the worst pronunciation so far.
What has your season been like?
Like every season, up and down. I'm actually just happy. I'm kind of fairly new on this tour. This is my first full year on the Champions Tour. And by the way, I absolutely love it. I mean, everybody talked to me about it, how great it was going to be, and how nice everybody is, and it's exceeded my expectations by far. And I mean, if you just look at the names you have legends playing, and there's no other sport you can do this. And when really, even as a fan or a sponsor or whatever, I just love it. And so my point is, I'm actually just happy to be here, first of all. But I've had a great year. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I was injured for many years, and I won my first one at the Woodlands in Houston early on this year. So I cannot complain, put it that way.
Talking with Jesper Parnevik, and I was talking to a golfer earlier today who said, when you get into this tour, maybe the bogeys don't hurt as much as they did back in the early days. And it almost seemed like there was an attitude or a comfort level with this group of golfers that maybe wasn't there a long time ago.
Well, bogeys always hurt. And trust me, that's another thing that actually surprised me. It's so many personalities out here, and it is a little bit relaxed in the, everybody has had their careers, but there's a big but. They're still super competitive, and there's a reason why they became world number ones, Hall of Famers, legends in the game, because most of these guys don't accept bogeys, and they're still super competitive. If you're not on top of your game, it's tough to compete out here, and that's one part I enjoy. I really enjoy the atmosphere, but I also enjoy the competitiveness.
Talking with Jesper Parnevik here on Open Season. How long did it take for you to balance the physical aspect of the game with the mental aspect of the game?
I still haven't really done that, to be honest. No, but it takes a while. In the beginning, you want to hit every shot perfect. You want to hit, I really want to hit cool shots all the time. The whole mental aspect of scoring and how to put together a good round, it's something you learn after a while. And I bet you if you ask a lot of the players, even after they win tournaments, they don't think they played that great. And it was nothing special. Everybody thinks that this week I've got it. I know when I won at the Woodlands, on every tee shot the last round, all I saw was OB stakes, and water hazards and OB stakes. And you learn how to grasp whatever swing thought you have that day and go with it, and you're just very focused. You get the ball around. And I think that's something you learn after a while.
Isn't golf just the darndest sport, though? You could go out and shoot a 59, and you'd come into the clubhouse and you'd say, if I just hit that 5-iron on 4, I could have got a 58.
Yeah, that's why this is, I think, the greatest game ever. You can never perfect it. You always try to do better, and as quickly as you have it and you play unbelievably well, you think I'm going to have this forever. Boom, that second is gone, and the next day you can go like, I'm never going to find it again. It's gone, and then click, you find it again, and that's why you see so many pro golfers in straitjackets, I almost said. It's amazing how this game. I've always said it's the easiest game of all sports to be number one in the world at, but at the same time it's the hardest sport ever. And to explain that, if you think about it, any amateur can beat me on 1, 2, even 3 holes in a row. I mean, it won't take a beginner. That person could beat me on 1 hole. Can never do it over 72,
right,
ever. But there's no other sport where all of a sudden I'm going to beat. They take back in the day Björn Borg, McEnroe, Pete Sampras. Take today, you know, any 100-meter dash with Bolt.
Yeah.
I can never beat that guy. I can never beat anyone in the high jump, long jump. But in golf, and almost a beginner can beat the best pro in the world on 1 hole. That's what I mean. So, theoretically, that person could be #1 in the world like that if you just could repeat what that person did that very whole year. But that's golf. You cannot do that.
Heading down the stretch here, what's the best golf shot you've ever made?
The best golf shot I ever made, it was, hold on, it was like 96. On the range, actually. It was one of those things, you know, you're standing by yourself and you hold a wedge shot. And this was the one time you actually, oh, did you see that? And you call someone, oh, this is what I did, and you hold another one.
Really?
So that never happened. So that was one of the best.
Back to back, you hold it.
Back to back. And I actually done that lately, not lately, it was a few years ago. I actually holding the same hole, 2 days in a row, with the same club. That's also pretty much mathematically impossible to do.
And that is why they call golf all kinds of different names, because you can be so horrible at it, and then you can be so good at it. And they say in each round you get like one really good shot that brings you back and makes you feel good enough to come back to the golf course the next day.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times where I've had, like, I'm terrible, obviously. But I've hit a good golf shot and came back the next day and go, why did I come back? Or why did I hit that golf shot yesterday? I don't want to come back. What? It's ridiculous. You know, I bet I could beat DeAndre Jordan in a free throw contest. That's about the only thing.
There you go.
But that's interesting what he said. Anybody on 1 hole, I could lose to an amateur. But it's true. That's very true.
Yeah, you know, if you put a couple of perfect shots together and get lucky, and the pro is having problems, you know, there's the best shot I ever hit was at a municipal course here in Southern California. I had hit a terrible tee shot. My second shot, I shanked it and hit it behind a tree. And on my next shot, I was about 70 yards out. I hit a wedge or a 9-iron up over the tree onto the green. It was about 8 feet away, and it rolled down and went in the hole. And I danced around the golf course. But I've never hit anything close to that good. Again, I had to screw up the first 2 shots in order to get in a place to hit my best shot ever.
People actually saw that shot, right?
Yes, I have witnesses. All right, coming right up on open season. The first college football playoff rankings are out, and actor Craig T. Nelson, the guy who starred in Coach and Parenthood and a whole lot of movies and stuff, he originally had aspirations to be a pro athlete, at least for a while.
Player, and once I started skating with some Canadian guys, I realized that was not going to be my my life's work.
Have you ever gone to use a flashlight and the batteries were dead or the inside of the flashlight corroded, only having to throw it away? Or in a location where you had no way to charge your cell phone or camera? Well, all that has changed. Now there's Hybrid Light. The Hybrid Light brings the best of both worlds together with a strong 160 lumen LED light that lasts 12 hours on a single charge, and after recharge from any light or power source, you're ready to go again. Hybrid Light lasts 7 long years and is even waterproof, and also contains a USB port to plug in your cell phone or camera to give you that special charge when you're not near an outlet. All this for the low price of $39.95 with promo code GARY. Call 1-800-297-8109 to be the first to have this great tool, or go to our website, hybridlight.com. That's 800-297-8109 or hybridlight.com, hybridlight.com, and don't forget to use promo code GARY.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
All right, we're heading down the stretch here on Open Season. Larry Burnett along with Eric Geller. Thanks for being with us on our Open Season program. College football playoff rankings out for the first time this year. No surprise. Bama on top, followed by Clemson, Michigan, Texas A&M, your team Washington at number 5, Ohio State at 6, Louisville at 7, and Wisconsin at number 8. I think the biggest surprise, A&M with their one loss to Bama, squeaking into that number 4 spot. What do you think?
I think it's ridiculous, and I'm tired of the SEC stuff going on. To me, I think right now, Washington and Alabama are the 2 best teams. By far.
Really?
Yeah. And eventually, they can't keep excluding the Pac-12 like that, no matter what happens. And I think last year, Stanford didn't get in, and I saw that Rose Bowl, and people were talking about how Iowa maybe should have been in that Final Four. They tore Iowa apart. I think Stanford might have been the best team at the end of the year last year. You can't deny the Pac-12. And Washington, I think Washington's going to run the table. I really do. And even if they only have one loss, they should be in that Final Four.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. Bama, big game tomorrow at LSU. Big game for Ed Orgeron and that LSU Tiger squad.
Well, maybe Orgeron can help the Pac-12 out and maybe do something against Alabama. That way Washington can take that spot. But, if Orgeron even if LSU even keeps it close, it says a lot about Ed Orgeron and what his future at LSU could be. And could have been at USC.
Enough, Les Miles, the guy that they fired this year, word is that he is now considering potential offensive coordinators for a return somewhere in college football next season. We'll see what happens there. Clemson hosts Syracuse this weekend. Michigan hosts Maryland. Texas A&M will be at Mississippi State. Washington 8-0 at Cal. And this could be a make-or-break game for Nebraska this week. They're playing at Ohio State, and Ohio State 7-1. It could be a make-or-break game for either one of those teams.
Yeah, this is essentially a playoff game, and I guess they're all playoff games in college football. But yeah, if Nebraska is really back, if they stay close or beat Ohio State, that says a lot about their program, and I think they have a shot at it. But Ohio State is Ohio State, so they'll be there.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
Really, and they cannot afford another loss, and they know.
No,
that.
They cannot. No.
We'll see what happens in that one. Louisville at Boston College and Wisconsin at Northwestern could be a test there for the Badgers. On this program we love to talk sports on Open Season, but we also love the entertainment industry as well. And today we get a little bit of both, and it's kind of fun as you get to listen in on my interview with actor Craig T. Nelson. You remember him? He starred in the TV show Coach. He was in Parenthood, lots of movies, including Poltergeist, and most recently The Impossibles. Poltergeist was one scary movie when that thing came out.
Yes, it was.
And it came out right about the same time as E.T. But this guy's been in a lot of things. He's a good actor, but sports has always been a big part of his life. And as you heard, he kind of wanted to be a hockey player for a while. So I asked him if people think that he's an athlete because of some of the acting roles that he's played.
Well, when they see me at sports, they realize I'm not. But I love sports, yeah.
What about the golf game?
It was really good for a while here, and then I started tinkering, of course, and it turned into nothing.
It's a crazy sport, isn't it?
It's just terrible. It's such a character builder, and, I built enough character, I would think, that I should be full, but I'm not, I guess.
Well, they say that you get like one shot around, and that's what brings you back the next time, right?
Well, it's going to take more than that for me, I'll tell you.
You are so well known for the coach role. What was that whole experience like for you?
Well, it was phenomenal. I mean, we had 9 years. It was the best time. We were a family. It was so much fun. You know, it was very close-knit, and we had such a great time. I mean, we laughed all the time. It was great. And it was one of those, I think it was a time when there was a lot of innocence in the show, and it was just silly. And it made people laugh, and that's what it's about.
Talking with Craig T. Nelson here, how realistic were the sports scenes? How much was put into making things look real?
Quite a bit. I mean, we did a lot of location stuff on football fields and in stadiums, and you know, we had a lot of people on the show that were professionals, and not only coaches but players. I mean, the number of guys we had and the people that I remember being my idols, you know, like Johnny Unitas. I mean, just there were so many. It's really Hank Stram, you know, just after coaching the Kansas City Chiefs to the Super Bowl. It was like a little later than that, but it was just great. Bart Starr. We had some great people, you know, it just people I looked up to, and it was so much fun.
Where did the motivation come from? How did you become coach?
Well, it didn't take much, really. I mean, I'd been around coaches my whole life, and most of them I didn't like. They seemed a little abrasive to me, and the character was fairly easy to get into, so it made everything pretty simple.
What sports did you play, Craig?
Well, I played football, hockey, baseball.
Wow.
And in Spokane. And I really wanted to be a hockey player. And once I started skating with some Canadian guys, I realized that was not going to be my life's work.
You did a football movie with Tom Cruise too, right?
All the Right Moves, yeah.
You are a sports guy.
Well, I am a sports guy. I mean, I love it, and I'm not as big a fan as I used to be. I mean, I used to live and die with the Rams, and when they were here, and you know, the Kings, and then the Kings did what they did, and that was like phenomenal. So,
well, what happened? Why'd you back away?
It just got to be too important to me.
Oh.
So I said, hey, wait a minute, you know, I'm getting a little obsessed here, so I just had to tone it down.
Before I let you go, when we're talking with Craig T. Nelson here, I have to ask you about Parenthood.
Yeah.
My wife loved that show. It was so real.
Yeah.
I mean, how did that happen?
Well, that's really Jason Katims and the writers. They were incredible. I mean, they were, and the cast, you know, it was, everybody had input. It was, that was a great experience.
Yeah.
You know, that was 6 years, and that was, you know, I'm still friends with all those people, and it was just, what do I say, it just seemed to meld. It was one of those things where the cast, we got together and there's no problem.
You've had some great runs. What's on the burner for Craig T. Nelson now?
Well, I'm doing Incredibles 2 now, and I've got a project at NBC I'm working on. I've optioned a book, so I'm still kind of active, you know. Yeah. Trying to, anyway.
It's all good. Listen, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Larry.
All right.
Thank you.
Lots of fun, and he played in a Pro-Am group with Jesper Parnevik out at Sherwood last week and Caitlyn Jenner. And Caitlyn played from the Red Tees, and she can smack a golf ball. I'll tell you that right now.
I wonder why.
just happened to formerly be the best athlete in the world.
Exactly.
But as they say, things change in time. In the little bit of time we have left here, congratulations to the Chicago Cubs. Man, that was just a great World Series to watch. I've had people who don't necessarily watch baseball tell me that they watched Game 7 last night and just enjoyed the heck out of it. And thank goodness that rain delay didn't force the game to be postponed or finished up today, because it really would have lost some of that luster that we had. Who knows what would have happened, though, right?
I enjoyed I enjoyed the scenes from outside of Wrigley Field, where that big scoreboard had said, you know, we finally did it, world champions. And to show you that 100-to-1 bet on the Angels is not a bad one, you might want to put $20 on them. According to Ken Rosenthal, I just got this alert. The Angels are about to acquire Cameron Maybin, the outfielder from the Detroit Tigers, and they'll pick up his $9 million option for 2017. So there's your left fielder they've been looking for so long. So you never know. Yeah, 100 to 1? Yeah, you never know.
Now if they can just get a couple of arms to start for them.
Exactly.
They'll be a lot better off. Well, hey, things are happening. We'll see. You know, everybody wants to get better, and I guess they feel if the Cubs can win it all, then who knows? Just about anybody can win it all. Hey, thanks, Eric, for a good show. Nice piece on Westbrook. Thanks to Brandon McCormick for pulling this all together today. He did a fantastic job. And thanks to Ron Rivera, Jeff Fisher, Luke Kuechly, Joe Madden, Russell Westbrook, Billy Donovan, Jesper Parnevik, Dexter Fowler, David Ross, Craig T. Nelson, Case Keenum, T.J. McDonald, and Bill Murray. Thanks to everybody for being a part of our show, and thanks to all of you for tuning in for Open Season. I'm Larry Burnett with Eric Geller. Be sure to join us next week, Thursday, 3:05 p.m., more Open Season. Until then, get out and have some fun, okay?
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC Radio. Another down day on Wall Street today, the 8th straight session of declines for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, all on uncertainty about the battle for the White House. At the close, the Dow down another 29 points. The tech-heavy NASDAQ down 47, brought lower by Facebook shares falling 6% and shares of Fitbit tumbling 33% lower. In late earnings, sales and profits shooting higher at Starbucks last quarter. CBS with an onslaught of political ads to thank for higher profits. One day to go before the big October jobs report, and first-time jobless claims spiking higher last week by 7,000. But planned corporate layoffs in October, 5-month low. And rival pet food makers Nestle Purina and Blue Buffalo settling lawsuits filed against each other, claiming false advertising about the products. No disclosed.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. But even today, there's still one path to success that only requires a dream and about $10. Because if your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. Right now at Vistaprint, you can get 500 customized, high-quality business cards for only $9.99. That's $9.99, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Just go to Vistaprint.com. Use promo code 300 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 300.
When it comes to vehicle safety, having poor visibility is a risk not worth taking. Get set for this fall's weather by visiting your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store during the See Better, Drive Safer sale. You'll find deals on name brand headlights, wiper blades, and everything you need to see better and drive safer. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
NBC News Radio, I'm Tom Roberts. President Obama says the future of the U.S.